Hi, everybody. It's Steve Olson and Wayne Steiger from WSO. Hi, Wayne.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Monday, August 1st. It's 22:06 Central Time. And we've been looking at the Venus images lately from H1 in the blue screen. And Sechi goes back and they'll actually do the more in-depth images. And Wayne, you made just an amazing discovery tonight that I think we need to bring forward. Could you tell us more about what you discovered tonight?
Yeah, Steve, thank you. As you know, last week you and I did a program where we showed what we thought was an object next to Venus. Now, Venus was coming back from behind the sun, brightly illuminated, and we got some criticism. We had people saying, well, no, that was just merely Venus reacting to Venus wasn't reacting to anything. All we were seeing was reaction to the coronal mass ejection as it was being thrown out with the solar wind. That's what we were told. Well, I have something here that I would make a dispute to that. And Steve, I found the last 30 days. The last 30 days on Sechi here. So check this out. You ready for this, Steve? Now, watch two things. Watch as Venus comes up on the left, and look at the sun, Steve. You can see a couple of huge CMEs that blast the Earth. Look at that. Now, watch what happens. That's Mercury. Now, this is Venus. Look at this, Steve. But look what's happening at the bottom of the screen. And let me just stop it right there. Steve, they're going to take this footage down. So people, watch this. Steve,
share this video, make it go viral, because I think this is one of those kind of videos that kind of convince you that this is a real phenomenon. Go ahead, Wayne. Sorry.
So Steve, I believe it's my hypothesis with yours. You and I are saying this Venus is reacting to this object down here. Because if you see this object, look at that, Steve. It's moving. Are you seeing that? And look at that, Steve. I mean,
I'm absolutely seeing it now. I've been watching this reaction all week and hearing all kinds of different things, but it makes perfect sense that it feels like Venus is absolutely having some kind of a discharge towards an object down, the object that follows the bottom of the screen.
Yes, yes. Now, here's what I don't understand. All right, we know that Venus is tracking near the sun, but we also know it's moving away from the sun. So I believe, if I'm correct, Steve, and maybe you can look at the data on your end, but the Venus right now is too close to the sun to be seen during the day. Am I correct on that?
You are, and I'll pull up. I've got the solar system scope up right now, Wayne, so we can actually look at where Venus is right now.
Sure.
Relative to the Earth. If you want to turn over the screen to me, we're gonna come back to the footage that Wayne was showing us, so that we can make sure we get it good and documented. But right now, what I want to do for a second is, oops.
No, sorry about that.
No worries. I want to take us over to the solar system scope here that I have up.
Okay. There you go.
Let's see. All right. So a couple of things I'll share, and then I'll turn it back to you again, Wayne, here. So the first thing is, I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at the solar system scope. Can you see that on your screen?
I can, Steve.
All right, great. So here's the Earth, okay? Here is Mercury, and basically, I'm gonna put us in the position of H1 here, okay?
Excellent, excellent.
So this is H1, and what appears to happen, because it's a retrograde, I'll roll it for a second so you can see the direction of the planets. I guess you can't do it if you do it that slow. But you can see that Venus is moving to the right.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Now, it's showing up in because really H1's more like back here, I guess would be more accurate. Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So here's big Venus going, and it is, let's take it back a couple of days. not months, Steve, just days. And let's go back to the 7th of June when all of this stuff started. Wow.
Actually, it's
Okay.
July.
First of all, this isn't making much sense to me. All right. Let's assume we're okay.
Go to July, Steve. Go to July, the month of July. There we go.
So now it makes sense again. Okay, sorry.
There we go.
I lost myself there. So here we are looking at the Earth. Remember, the Earth and the Sun, you know, they're not this big, okay? So we're seeing the Earth here. We're seeing Venus go over our heads. And as I progress through the days, Venus is going like that, and we should be seeing Mercury in that retrograde. And, of course, H1 stays with the Earth.
So let's see about the 26th, Steve, of July. Let's see where Venus was. Okay. How interesting. All right. So if we take this as our reference point, very interesting. So, Steve, you got, all right, so we got Venus as the main stage here. What's going on with Venus? So what is Venus reacting to? I don't know. It's obviously reacting to something big. Now, the question I have, we don't know if that object, and we'll look at the video one more time.
Well, you have to remember that Jupiter's behind it, the H1.
Yeah.
So in this area somewhere, okay?
Yeah.
We're looking back at the Earth with 2 satellites, basically. We're in a geosynchronous orbit around the Sun. It's fun. It's a fun orbit, let's say. And listen, I've been beaten to crap on this H1 thing enough to know what I'm talking about nowadays. So here we go. So something was close enough to Venus, and let's just turn the solar system so we can see the classic view of it for a second, right? Something was here, Wayne.
Yes, sir.
And it was moving in the opposite direction. It was moving in this direction, right?
Yes.
That would suggest that there's an object out by Venus.
Okay.
Moving in this direction, right?
Yeah.
Then that means that the Earth will run into that object if I'm thinking this right.
Let's advance it. Let's see where the Earth will be. Let's say in September.
Right. Well, September 1st.
Yeah.
So here's Venus already passed. This object is moving this way. Okay.
Yeah.
Or it's coming up like this.
All right. So let's look at December.
I'm just going to go to November 1st.
Holy crap.
Guess what possibly could be between the Earth and the Sun?
All right. We're just speculating here.
We're just speculating.
But here's the deal.
Chris Potter for entertainment purposes only.
Yes. All right. So let's just extrapolate here what we're seeing. We know we have 30 days of satellite footage that shows unequivocally that Venus is reacting to something.
Right.
We also see that something very large is moving in retrograde to Venus in the opposite direction. Okay.
They're reacting. See, like it's lighting it up just like my finger.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make the sound effect, but it was moving this way. I think it could be coming up. Like, you got to see this too, because this isn't.
Show us the ecliptic. Show us the ecliptic. Okay. So now let's just hypothesize here a little bit. So we're going to take this that it's coming up from the southern ecliptic.
Right.
All right. Now, Steve, allow me to interject one more mystery here. I have been asking this question since July 5th. When Juno successfully deployed around Jupiter, it was told that we should begin to see high-definition pictures of Jupiter. There has not been one single picture of Jupiter at all.
Well, look at where Jupiter is.
That's my point.
The spacecraft is probably being pointed at these other objects, would be my guess, for observation. I mean, just as one theory, one hypothesis.
You know, listen, if, you know, someone's going to have to give me a better cockamamie story that is reacting to the solar wind. You know, I ain't buying it. Sorry. We're going to have to go a little deeper than that, because you know what? Those last couple of frames, and we'll look at them, Steve.
Yep, I'm going to turn it back.
That is material of some sort of reaction coming off Venus. You can tell it. It's being thrown off.
Right, we're going to come back to your footage, but I think we've got a subscriber that came up with a kind of a neat theory on this, and then I'll turn it back to you again. So here, can you see this picture?
Yes, I can.
And then we'll cut the video off, because I think that we made our point pretty good, you know, in terms of what we're seeing here. So let me read the letter. Steve, it is my belief that due to a plasma discharge from either another planet or the sun has caused the unusual flaring on the surface of Venus. This is his hypothesis. So here he shows the Venus with the ionosphere, and then he goes on to talk about disruptions in the blanket's Birkeland currents due to the solar wind. So in other words, we have something pulling, almost like when we talk about HAARP doing the ionospheric punch in the atmosphere, and it punches a hole and lets the air through, and that's how they create low pressure or high pressure. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Anyway, point being, this is a possibility if a large planetary object approaches within a proximity of Earth's magnetic field and would occur on the region 2 current sheet, southern hemisphere on approach. A large plasma discharge could also take place between Earth and another planetary object, depending on the proximity of approximately 1 lunar distance or less. So he's saying for that to have happened, his theory anyway, and let's just go with it, that in order for this hot flow anomaly to actually create a magnetic, you know, this magnetic connection, it would have to be within 1 lunar distance of Venus.
Well, and I believe that's exactly what we're seeing is.
Let's go back to the footage. I'm gonna stop share. Why don't you go ahead and pull it?
All right.
Go back to the footage, and then we'll say goodnight to everybody. But this is a special report. WSO, Wayne Steiger, Steve Olson. We think that we're piecing some things together that are pretty phenomenal here, everybody.
I wanted to step through this, Steve, because I think that this will displace the argument. Look at that. Look at that, Steve. That is throwing off, I don't know what it is, atmosphere, plasma. I mean, it's clearly not reacting to anything in this area, but boy, you can see it come in here, and we only get a couple more frames before it cuts off. Look at this.
All right, let's walk through it one more time, everybody, and then we'll just put it out for comments, everybody. What do you guys think? Do you think that we're seeing a orb relatively close to Venus, close enough for Venus to actually make a plasma connection or plasma discharge towards the object? This round object that goes across the bottom of the screen. Let us know your thoughts. Wayne, you want to close with anything?
Yeah, I'll just say I think we're seeing 2 reactions to Venus as it comes around. It seems like it's being pulled here, and then it seems like it's trying to get, look at this. You could almost see a magnetic connection. Look at this, Steve. Earth, object. Now watch.
We would not be able to see this, folks, because the Venus is basically tracking with the sun in our sky right now. So it would be behind, like, I know, behind the sun. It's always behind the sun. I know.
And the last frame we have on this is right there. So I clearly believe that what we're seeing is planetary reactions, and I can only refer people to go see the Ancient Alien Sky. I mean, this is the Thunderbolts theory all the way at the electric universe, and Steve, I think that's what we're seeing.
Okay, well, let's get everybody's comments on it. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good night.